Now, Prime Minister Modi's big outreach to the Matua community on his second day in Bangladesh. Modi offered prayers at the Hari Temple in Orakandi, which is abode to hundreds of Hindu Matua community, and paid tributes to Hari Chand Thakur, who is the founder of this community. Prime Minister's Orakandi visit holds significance here, as it can woo at least lakhs of Matua voters in Bengal assembly polls. And here's what we found through this visit. Let's take a look.
Amid phase 1 voting of Bengal polls comes Prime Minister Narendra Modi's massive outreach to the Matua community in Bangladesh. Modi is also the first Indian dignitary to have visited the community, which could be a deciding factor in Bengal polls.
हरिचंद ठाकुर जी की कृपा से ओराकांदी ठाकुरबाड़ी की इस पुण्य भूमि को प्रणाम करने का सौभाग्य मिला है.
On day 2 of his visit, Prime Minister Modi offered prayers at Hari Temple in Orakandi, the heartland of the Matua sect and the birthplace of its founder, Hari Chand Thakur, an influential group among Bengal's scheduled caste community. The temple is situated around 200 kilometers in Dhaka, but has huge political implications in election-bound Bengal.
मैं बांग्लादेश के राष्ट्रीय पर्व पर भारत के 130 करोड़ भाई बहनों की तरफ से आपके लिए प्रेम और शुभकामनाएं लाया हूं.
Addressing the members of the community, the Prime Minister drew parallel between Matuas of Thakur Nagar in Bengal and Thakur Bari in Bangladesh.
पश्चिम बंगाल में ठाकुर नगर से बांग्लादेश में ठाकुर बाड़ी तक वैसी ही श्रद्धा है, वैसी ही आस्था है और वैसा ही अनुभव है.
And here comes an interesting moment. When the priest of the Hari Thakur temple tried to touch Prime Minister's feet, but Modi stopped him.
So we are very proud, and not only Siddha Morakandi, but also CC Horiguru Chand Motu, on behalf of CC Horiguru Chand Motu Mission and Sri Padmanabha Thakur, we greet you highly.
Classified as a scheduled caste, Matuas are Namasudras or low caste Hindu refugees who have migrated to West Bengal from Bangladesh over many decades since partition. The Matuas constitute 17.4% of the total SC population in Bengal. That amounts to around 1.8 crore people spread across North 24 and South 24 Parganas, Nadia, Jalpaiguri, Cooch Behar and several other districts. In North 24 Parganas, there are over 33 assembly constituencies, out of which the TMC won 27 in 2016. But the TMC lost 12 of these assembly segments to the BJP in the 2019 Lok Sabha polls, primarily because Matuas backed the Saffron Party. In the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, the BJP won 4 out of the 10 seats reserved for SCs. It had offered the Matua migrants citizenship under the Citizenship Amendment Act. In 2019 also, Prime Minister Modi had reached out to the sect ahead of the Lok Sabha polls. He visited Veena Pani Devi, a 4th-generation descendant of the sect's founder. 30 lakh potential voters from the Matua sect voted for the BJP in 2019, helping the Saffron Party win at least 9 out of the 18 seats that it won in Bengal.
From Thakur Nagar in West Bengal to Thakur Bari in Bangladesh, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's message to the Matua community will certainly find resonance in West Bengal. The announcements of development of infrastructure and schools in Bangladesh, in Orakandi, is certainly going to be seen as something that can be replicated in West Bengal as well. More importantly, India's message to Bangladesh that minorities, particularly Hindus in the neighborhood, will be protected by India. In Dhaka, Geeta Mohan for India Today.
Now, Gaurav Sawant discussed how this Prime Minister's outreach to the Matua community in Bangladesh will have an influence back home in West Bengal during the polls that's underway. Let's cut across.
If I could begin with you, Abhishek Mishra, it is being argued by some and commented by some in the Trinamool Congress that the Prime Minister visited Thakurbadi with an eye on elections in Thakurnagar and of course across Bengal.
So you have to understand, Gaurav, that we should never look at foreign policy through the prism of domestic politics. So elections are happening in states in India. That is a matter of our domestic politics. What the Honorable Prime Minister, when he travels abroad, and what outreach he does to the Indian communities abroad, that is part of our global diplomacy, that is a part of our foreign policy, and hence the both must not be combined and confused. And I think the opposition parties are doing a disservice to Indian foreign policy, external affairs, by focusing on what Prime Minister does abroad and linking it unnecessarily to domestic politics and state politics in India. So I would say that we must at least be vigilant enough.
You agree that this was a foreign policy exercise, had nothing to do with elections in Bengal.
Adverse comment as far as this particular visit to celebrate, Bangladesh's 50 years of, independence, or the birth centenary of the great father of Bangladesh nation, Mr. Sheikh Mujibur. There is, I think, absolutely denying the fact that we must sort of, be on the same ground. But yes, people are taking this particular visit, especially to the Harichandra Thakur birthplace, with a pinch of salt. I mean, look at the way how the whole event is being choreographed. We are in a way compelled to sort of make the comment that it is not entirely politically innocuous. I mean, no sort of human utterances or actions, and especially by our great Prime Minister, can be politically innocent. I mean, let me sort of say this philosophically, that his utterances or actions are always politically sort of quite conscious. So, him going to that particular place, especially with Shantanu Thakur MP, whose brother is contesting in this part of the border, barely 150 kilometers away from Gopalganj districts where this event is taking place. All the channels, especially their informal mouthpieces, are sort of continuously invoking how these routes are connected with this part. I think people can judge. I mean, people of Bengal are no fools. I mean, they can judge what is what. I mean, as an academic, I tell you, this exercise is certainly not politically innocuous. But yes, taking part in the celebration of Bangladesh's independence, taking part in the centenary celebration of great Sheikh Mujib Rahman, I think we are completely on one with the government. I mean, there is no qualm about it. But this visit,
the visit to Thakurbadi. Because visit to Thakurbadi, you're saying, is politically motivated. Subir Bhaumik, the Prime Minister, also visited Ma Kali's temple, one of the 51 Shaktipeeths at Jasoreshwari, promised a community center there, then promised a girls' school, a middle school and a primary school. Also, facilities when devotees from India, from Thakurnagar visit Thakurbadi. Is all of this just with an eye on elections in Bengal, or is there a bigger outreach to the Indian community in Bangladesh, often persecuted, but at times the Prime Minister is also sending out that message that along with Sheikh Hasina, there is someone who's looking after their interests?
Indian community, I don't understand. I think you mean Hindu. See, let me tell you something. This is a classic case of taking advantage of a particular event. This 50th anniversary of Bangladesh independence was not something for Narendra Modi to decide. This is a fact of history, and the kind of role that India played in Bangladesh Liberation War, it was natural that the Indian Prime Minister would be invited. But then, as we say in Bengali, "Rod dekha kola becha dutoi ek sathe." आप केला भी बेच रहे हो और रथ भी देख रहे हो, मेला भी देख रहे हो, दोनों काम एक साथ हो रहा है. So you know what? I think I agree with Monojit on this, that as far as participating in the Bangladesh 50th Golden Jubilee of Bangladesh independence, visiting Bangabandhu's mausoleum, this is all fine. This is sending out a larger message to the whole of Bangladesh. But specifically going to Thakurbadi, of course, is an expression, the Jasoreshwari Kaliwari, maybe an expression of his Hindu identity. He's a Hindu Hriday Samrat. He makes no secret of it. Going to the Matua temple there, this definitely has an eye on the Bengal elections. There is no doubt about it. You know what? I don't think, Gaurav, this is something Narendra Modi decides. You know, there is a larger political formation. You know, Chintan Sabhas are held before all these things. So RSS, BJP, they have some system of brainstorming. They have their
Fair
own
enough.
think tank.
Abhishek Mashra, respond that the Prime Minister is taking advantage of a situation that's already there. Visit everywhere else, you know, according to the analyst and the TMC, a perfect visit to a Matua shrine, interacting with the Matua community. That's trying to take political advantage of a religious, cultural and an international event.
Gaurav, I'll make 2 points. I think that will make the viewers understand the truth of the situation. Firstly, wherever not only Bangladesh, whichever country the Honorable Prime Minister has gone, it is on record. He has made outreach to the Indian community across the globe. So when he was doing it in other countries, that time election was not in India. So it had nothing to do with elections. Wherever the Prime Minister goes, as a Prime Minister of this great country, whichever citizens are or our brothers and sisters are in other nations, he meets them, he interacts with them, he goes to the cultural centers. And this is across the globe. So the people must understand, this is across the globe, whichever country he goes. It doesn't matter if it is election or not election. Secondly, Gaurav, in the Parliament of India, the Honorable Home Minister the government has said on record that Hindus, they have faced difficulties in some Bangladesh, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and hence we have brought a CA bill in the parliament saying that so you have to understand, in countries like Bangladesh, where currently the Bangladeshi Prime Minister is doing to safeguard, but overall through the history, throughout the last 30-40 years, there was persecution. So when the Prime Minister of India goes, he has to give confidence to the Hindu community there that listen, I am here for you. Your Bangladesh Prime Minister is there to safeguard you. So that is his duty also. When we have told in Parliament that there has been persecution in the past, so it's the Prime Minister's duty also to give them confidence. So I'll just repeat a 2.11 line. Whichever country he has gone across
you've made that point. Let me bring in Monojit Mandal to respond to this. Sir, you've made that point. Monojit Mandal, you heard the Bharatiya Janata Party. They're saying the Prime Minister's responsibility is to reach out to the Indian community overseas. He does that every time. You'd recall when the Prime Minister went to Nepal in 2014 when he took over as Prime Minister, he visited the Pashupatinath temple. So he visits temples each time. Why look at politics in this particular visit just because there are elections in Bengal when the Prime Minister talks about peace, progress, terror-free growth, and follow the path shown by Sri Sri Harichand Thakur? How is this vote bank politics, sir?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I mean, reaching out to the Hindus of Bangladesh, fine. I mean, look at the maximum number of persecuted people are staying in the Chittagong area, those who are known as the Chakmas. Now, I have known them for years because they've all come to Shantiniketan for study. Is the Prime Minister reaching to the Chakmas as well in Chittagong area, Chittagong district? The answer is quite simple, no. Is he going to the Sylhet areas where again a maximum number of Hindu Bengalis are staying? The answer is no. He is selectively visiting a particular place which is probably umbilically connected with this part of the border, Thakurnagar, Bonga, barely, again I repeat, 150 kilometers away from that particular place. And again, one very interesting point that we are all missing out. Why accompanying Shantanu Thakur, whose brother is contesting this election, and then addressing the Motuas, and the Motuas are, again I'm saying, seamlessly connected in both the places, Gopalganj and Bongaon. They're connected with each other. Addressing the Motuas therein is obviously spilling over to this part of the country as well, where electorates are saying. But again, we are saying the people of Bongaon, people of Bengal are quite intelligent enough to understand what is what. Who has been with the
Abhishek
Motuas,
Mishra,
who has been
the Prime Minister also made references. The Prime Minister made a reference that in 2019 he sought the blessings of Boroma, and he says he feels indebted that he was blessed by Boroma, borne out by the fact that the BJP won 18 of 42 Lok Sabha seats. So is this outreach an attempt to replicate that and consolidate those gains from Lok Sabha into assembly elections, sir?
See, Gaurav, one thing the other person will understand, culture has no boundaries. So even if the Honorable Prime Minister is in territory of Bangladesh, but when he's speaking at a cultural center which is connected across the boundaries in India or Bangladesh, he will take the names of people connected to the cultural center. For example, even if the Prime Minister stands in New York and starts discussing about Swami Vivekanand, he will speak about Ramkesh Paramans and Bengal. Then you cannot say he's trying to do politics. I don't understand. Culture sees no boundaries. When you are at a cultural center, when you are addressing people of a particular community, you address all their community leaders, you address all the community places, and he's referring again to some MP. If a person is at a cultural event, whoever is a leading figure of that cultural society, he will be present, whether he's MP or not. You have to understand, when there are Swami Narayan events in India, so what happens, all the Swami Narayan people, even their MP, MLA, actor, TV actor, they all turn up as Swami Narayan Bhakts. So try to ensure it's a cultural event. I don't know what has happened to TMC party. They see everything, culture as politics, foreign diplomacy as politics, because I think the Bengal Chief Minister is only politics. So they are
Subir Bhaumik.
Can I respond?
Okay. Subir Bhaumik, Manojit, you must, if with your permission, if I could quickly bring in Subir Bhaumik for just a moment. Subir Bhaumik, some argue in just, not 24 Parganas and Nadia, about 35 odd seats, major impact of the Matua votes. Overall, if you take the region, perhaps an influence in 80, if not more seats, but direct impact in about 40 plus seats. So is the Prime Minister's effort to consolidate gains made in 2019 with Boroma's blessings, and will that actually happen in your appreciation, considering you're watching the situation very closely from ground zero?
No, the BJP, it's an open secret here that they are trying to recover from somewhat perceived loss of influence among the Matuas because of the BJP's ambivalence over the Citizenship Amendment Act due to the agitations in Assam. Because if the BJP goes ahead with the CAA, which it has promised, then the Assamese and the local tribals in Assam, for whom Subir Bhaumik and Shabir Ahmed are the same set of enemy, despite my religion, it does not save me. If I'm a Bengali, I'm a target in Assam. So at the end of the day, this CAA is a double-edged sword. That if you do it, the Assamese are upset with you, the local tribals are upset with you. You don't do it, the Bengali Hindus, and especially the Matuas who think they have a serious citizenship issue. So this is definitely an attempt to recover the ground. Now, I have to correct Mishra ji on one thing. He's been saying Indian community. I know. I was in Myanmar when Narendra Modi went there and he prayed in Shwedagon Pagoda and all that. And he reached out to the Indian community there. But Bangladeshi Hindus are Bangladeshis. They are not Indians, sir. Nepali Hindus are Nepalis. They are not Indians, sir. So let's get this right. And
Abhishek Mishra, respond to that. Abhishek Mishra, respond to that. So one by one. Let's take this point by point. Let's take this point by point. My specific question was, Abhishek Mishra, respond to Subir Bhaumik. The specific question is, 80 seats, the BJP hopes that the Matua votes will have an impact. Was the effort to consolidate gains made in the 2019 Lok Sabha elections? And as Subir Bhaumik says, the perceived loss on the ambivalence on the Citizenship Amendment Act.
I'll come to that later. Second point. First, I'll just clarify his question. I had said 2 points. One is, wherever Prime Minister goes, he meets the Indian community. Whenever. And secondly, regarding the Hindu, because we have said in Parliament that Bangladeshi Hindus have faced persecution, so hence he has met the Hindu community also, even if they have been Bangladeshi citizens. So it's both Indian citizens as well as Hindu citizens, because we have said in Parliament they have faced persecution. So I think that clarifies. Secondly, with regards to Assam and Bengal, you have to understand that citizens of Assam also are patriotic, Bengal also are patriotic. Whatever is in national interest, whatever Prime Minister Modi and Honorable Home Minister Mishra ji have decided in Parliament, and which will now go ahead. So whatever the wise decision will be taken, that will be, I think, accepted by the citizens, because whatever the Prime Minister decides is always in national interest with the long-term vision. So I think that is not the issue today here of debate, that what will happen in Assam or Bengal. I think they are right now going through polls, and I think we should not debate that. CAA is a larger question which the Prime Minister, Home Minister, India Security Apparatus has to decide based on information from
on the specific point that was raised by Monojit Mandal. If reaching out to Hindus was the issue, why not in Sylhet? Why not the Chakmas?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you a good question. When Prime Minister had gone for the Howdy Modi event in Texas, somebody could have questioned why not Delaware, why not San Francisco, why not Massachusetts. So it doesn't work that way. When a head of a state goes, there is limited time. There has to be security arrangement made. So whatever is possible.
Can I respond?
Wherever he goes to UK, he'll go to London now. So you cannot say why he has not gone to Sussex, why not he has gone to Coventry or Glasgow. It doesn't work that way.
Okay.
And head of state, even when US president comes to India, they visit two cities, Hyderabad, sometimes Mumbai, sometimes Bangalore.
Okay.
It is a symbolic
Monojit
gesture.
Mandal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, it's a symbolic gesture, reaches out and then it goes out to all is what the BJP claims. Monojit Mandal, Mamata Banerjee too had reached out to Borma in 2016. It paid the Trinamool Congress rich dividends in the assembly elections. What is wrong if the BJP does exactly the same in 2019 or in 2021?
But the Prime Minister is not visiting Bangladesh as BJP's Mr. Narendra Modi, right? He is visiting the Bangladesh as a straight guest. He is the Prime Minister of India. That's why. That's the simple difference. And you talk about accompanying Shantanu Thakur. He is a descendant of Matua. Then what about the senior pro Mamata Bala Thakur? She is also holding a very important post in Matua Mahasangh in this part of the border. So she was not asked to go. It is Shantanu Thakur. I mean, these are, you can talk about culture, symbolism, but we know how culture and politics go hand in hand. I mean, you cannot deny the fact that that there is nothing called pure culture.
Would this Monojit Mandal make the Trinamool Congress nervous? Would the Prime Minister or would the BJP get an advantage out of the Prime Minister visiting Orakandi?
In fact, let me tell you that the Prime Minister is nervous. That's why he has to appeal to the voter of this part of the country from that part. Because he knows that what his MP has been doing for the last 1.5 years. He knows how his government has actually been cheating these people on the issue of CAA, where these people are already citizens of the country. I mean, the CAA could not be implemented in 1.5 years. You need 2 years to make rules. I mean, whom are you fooling, sir? We understand what is what. Subir Das, I think, is completely calling out the bluff because Assam is on the
in fact, Subir Bhaumik,
election in Assam. That's the simple reason you can't implement the CAA. So to compensate that,
Subir Bhaumik, I have last 30 seconds on the broadcast. Subir Bhaumik, I have last 30 seconds on the broadcast. In your appreciation, the Prime Minister's outreach, the Prime Minister visiting the temple, meeting descendants of Harichand Thakur's family, Sri Harichand Thakur's family, and then his address. In your appreciation, will it help offset some of the perceived losses of CAA?
I mean, the Matuas are quite excited about the fact that he is the first Prime Minister of India who has visited them. And the Matuas do, look forward, like many other Hindus in Bangladesh, look up to the government of India. Not just the Hindus, even Awami League people, secular people in Bangladesh, they always look up to India, not only as the role model, but also for support. So there is definitely some political game there. As I told you in the very beginning, quoting a Bengali proverb, this is Rod Dekha and Kola Becha, Mela bhi dekha, Kela bhi becha. So, Modi is a smart politician. The thing is, how much swing it can bring back, it will definitely have some impact. How much? That's the question. Because many people will, even in the Matua community, turn around and question कि Citizenship Amendment Act के बारे में क्या हुआ? उस बारे में तो उन्होंने कुछ कहा नहीं. He has not said anything on that. He has just gone, prayed there, praised Harichand Thakur and all that.
Can I get 10
largely
seconds?
Religious symbolism. People want a little bit of substance.
10 seconds. Just 10 seconds. Monojit Mandal, 10 seconds. Go on, sir.
I mean, look at what Mamata Di has done for the Matuas. Now we have a university by the name of Harichand Guruchand. I mean, we have tremendous developmental work for Matuas. I mean, everyone knows. I mean, 10 years before go to that particular place.
Okay.
It will be completely a deserted place. Now we have a university by the name of Harichand Guruchand Thakur. The colleges are there. I mean, all the Matuas are happy. It's a one election because Shantanu Thakur won on the promise of CA, which they cannot deliver. I think Matuas are completely with Mamata Di. And Mamata Di doesn't need any
Abhishek Mishra, respond. I have last 30 seconds on the broadcast. Respond that the advantage may be there, but may just be rather limited.
In fact, in the last seconds, the TMC has exposed itself. Prime Minister Modi went for a cultural event, did not discuss politics, and only spoke on cultural issues and issues related to the community. But this TMC man is saying culture, about Mamata Banerjee has done. We have built this, we have built that.
One by one.
And so TMC is saying that we are doing politics with Matua community. They are accepting we did politics with Matua community. We did this, we did that. We want votes. Mamata ji will get votes. But Modi ji never said I want Modi ji said I am a sevak. We have come to serve the community.
Okay.
So this itself proves the TMC's plan.
Efforts clearly being made by all sides. Now it is for the voter to decide. It's for the voter to decide who the voter places more trust in. But Monojit Mandal, Subir Bhaumik and Abhishek Mishra, many thanks for joining me. That is all I have time for on this special broadcast. The voter will decide who to vote for, and we'll be reporting it on the 2nd of May when the election results pour in. The most authentic, fastest and the best here on India Today. A quick break. News and updates continue on India Today. Stay with us.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.